5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, how are you? This is Alex Bennett. And this is the Ramble. And
ladies and
no, that's not what I want. Hold on a second. Boy, I'm screwing up like crazy here. Hold on. There we go. I'm sorry. Hi, how are you? See, I'm just out of it today again. I'm losing it. Look, I didn't turn on the light. Look. There we go, on the air. Now we're on the air officially. All right? Okay, and you saw for a moment there something I didn't want you to see yet, which is, of course, an interview we like to go to every couple of weeks, in which we, oddly enough, after all these years, I'm talking to an ex-wife.
ladies and gentlemen, that smiling face you see before you is that of Ronnie Bennett in Lake Oswego, Oregon. Did I pronounce? Is it Oswego?
Oswego. It's not hard. There's even a town in your state called Oswego. Pronounced
Oh, really?
The same way.
Really? Well, it's interesting that you used to live in Portland. Where is it? Portland. Was that Vermont or New Hampshire that you were in, or Massachusetts? Portland, Massachusetts. Where were you before?
Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine. Okay. Me and my geography. And
well, a lot of people don't know the difference. And when I told friends that I was moving to Portland, Oregon, they said, "Aren't you already there?"
Yeah, exactly. You were born in Portland. Then
Oregon.
And then you moved to Portland, Maine.
But there were a whole lot of other places in between.
I know, but you moved to Portland, Maine eventually, and then from Portland, Maine, you moved essentially to Portland, Oregon.
Yes, and it was hard to make that happen, that even things like moving companies and stuff would get confused.
Really?
You had to be real careful with everybody on the telephone that they understood this is two different states, happen to be the same name of city,
Yeah. So anyway, how you feeling? You okay? You moving along, singing a song? Your hair's growing out.
It's getting by.
Yeah.
Not too hard. It's one of the things about having a serious disease as opposed to a flu when you go to bed for a week, is that there's a lot of maintenance, constant maintenance.
Yeah.
You have to keep track of appointments with the various doctors, and there are many doctors, many.
Yeah.
And they each do their own little thing. And then there are the medications, and I was concerned about way too many medications, and then I realized that I have only 4 prescription drugs. That's not bad for somebody with pancreatic
I have more than
cancer.
that.
And all the rest are things people take all the time, like calcium and vitamin D and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That are non-prescription. And I just hate counting them out. Those little boxes you can get, and you put the pills in each little box for each day.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have a place for 30 minutes before meal, which is why I have to take one of them. You can't just put them together with the rest. And then I got so fed up with it after all this long, counting them out every damn Saturday, that about a month ago, I said, I'm just going to do it every day as I need them. Well, that's stupid. Now how many bottles do you have to open all week, and pour things out?
Yeah.
So I went back to counting them out.
Well,
on Saturday.
Everybody has their own way of doing it. My wife has these little glassine packets, and so
they come from the pharmacy that way, right?
Well, no. She just buys them in bulk, okay, and then she lays them out on the bed in like 15 of them or whatever, 15 portions, and then she drops them into these little baggies, which to me seems a bit extreme. So I have one of those, those boxes, those plastic boxes with the day of the weeks for a month. And then I just drop one in each, and another one in there, and then another one in there. But I just thought, where's the inventive genius who doesn't come up with a thing where you take your pills and you have a box or something, and you just simply throw them into this chute and it spits them out, right?
What a funny idea.
Well, it's not a funny idea. Somebody should invent it and spits them out into the...
For shape, for size, for color. You know, there's a whole lot of things you're asking one chute to do.
No, but I'm not putting all the pills in at once. I'm putting, I'm putting in my Cialis in there, and then it'll boom, and I'll put the next one in there, and boom. Why should I have to do them when you could have a machine that could?
Pills.
Huh?
Why shouldn't you? I don't understand why you shouldn't.
No, but why should I have to sit there putting in?
Well, there are pharmacies, Alex. You see them on TV that they send your pills to you already in the packets that your wife makes for herself.
Yeah, but I'm not going to one of those pharmacies. I'm going to the one that gives me
but
really...
But what I'm saying, if you were really serious about this, you would find one of those pharmacies.
No, but I can't because I have to use Express Scripts, and Express Scripts is only taken by Walgreens, and Walgreens doesn't do it. So
really, this is really an old person conversation.
But I do save 2/3 on my medicine this way. So but believe me, what I used to pay, they should put them in a little packet for me.
This is really an old person's conversation.
Well, this is an old person's show, I've decided. I mean, let's face it. At 79, what is important to me is not important to most people in America. That's why I don't have the listenership I should have. If I was giving out shopping hints or makeup hints or something like that, I'd have millions of viewers. But because I'm an old person and people don't really want to hear from old people, I enjoy a rather small audience that goes, oh, let's listen to the curmudgeon tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've learned that but at our age, this is what concerns us. You know?
Yes.
And it's terrible that we have to be concerned by it. When you were younger, did you ever think about you forgot to go to your doctor once a year?
Oh, whenever I'd show up, he'd look at the chart and say, good grief, it's been 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And how lucky for me that I went 76 years with nothing more serious than a bad flu once in a while. That was it. That's a pretty good run of being really, really healthy. And now everything that might have happened to me in my whole life is getting crammed into the very end of my life.
Yeah, all of a sudden, the good Lord says, I think I'll throw it all at you at once.
Right.
Yeah.
You've gotten off too easy for 3/4 of a century, so let's try this.
Well, my problems, I have little niggling problems, the neuropathy in the feet, or I have a hernia, or I have, it's nothing that's important except for maybe the possibility of the prostate cancer, which again isn't important at my age because it's it's mild.
Yes, we understand.
Oh, I found out from my doctor, my main physician who I was seeing, and I told him about this thing with the prostate, and he says, he says, at your age, 70%. I said, I hear 70% of people at my age have prostate cancer, and they go 70. He says, I hear it's a little bit higher. He says, when you reach 90, if you're still alive, your chances of having it are 100%.
Yes.
He said, so, don't even worry about it, But, I have what I call, compared to your situation, I've got nothing. But it's just things that make you grouchy all the time. Like this thing that wouldn't go away, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and neither could some doctors. And then I found one and said, 5 prednisone, that will take care of it, And after the first day of taking the pills, I feel 75% better. So for me,
that's the upside of there's so many things that we haven't been able to find either a prevention or cure for, like most cancers that are in that box. But there are some things that we've done really well on. It's one of the things that drives me around the bend about anti-vaxxers.
Oh, I hate them.
That starting with World War II, when penicillin was invented, antibiotics and vaccines just kept coming one after another, until all childhood diseases practically were wiped out. And now we have, because of the anti-vaxxers, the biggest outbreak of measles pretty much since you and I were kids.
Well, I hate the anti-vaxxers because they really, I think, have killed people. You know?
Yes, it does. You know, and it's not just little kids who get most of those kinds of diseases, but old people too, who, you know, I haven't thought to ask, and I should, is if you got all your vaccines when you were a kid, which I did over a period of whatever years they mandate, are those good for a lifetime? You know, I think about that when I see a group of little kids around and wondering how many of them are not vaccinated for measles.
I think, for instance, I've been told, we asked about the measles vaccine, and they said, yeah, you could take it at your age.
Who is they, Alex?
They, the pharmacy where they usually do vaccinations and things like that. And we asked our doctor, and he said, if you want to do it, it might not be the worst idea in the world. He said, but, you know, you know what's strange? You get, to begin with, you do get a lot of immunities as you're growing up. That's why you get sick all the time when you're a kid. You know, that's why kids are...
I didn't get sick all the time.
Well, kids get sick a lot. I mean, they go to school, which is a real, you know...
I mean, they have runny nose type things all the time just because they're kids and they get those things.
But the strange thing that happened to me is I had a girlfriend who got at like 22 years of age. What do you call it?
How old were you?
Huh?
How old were you at the time?
I was in my 40s.
Okay, go on with your story.
Okay, well, wait a minute. She got at 22 or 23 chicken pox. And she said, well, you know, I've got it. So have you ever had it? And I said, no. And she said, well, you're bound to get it. And I didn't get it. And then
some people don't.
Yeah, a couple of years later, I got a bad case of shingles on my face. Now, the only way you get shingles is if you had chicken pox as a kid. But I didn't have chicken pox as a kid. And some doctor suggested that what had happened as a kid, I got a small case of it and didn't know it. Okay? That I got it from some kid at school, and I just got a little bit of it. And that was it. But it was enough to make me immune. So what happens is a lot of times you gain these immunities just through getting these things when you're kids. You know, sometimes it's good that you
That's well known. I mean, we've always known that, yeah.
So, you know, the only bad thing about chicken pox is it can come back later as shingles. That's the only bad thing about chicken pox. It just kind of rests in your nerve trunk or something and then decides to go crazy at some time. But I haven't had my pneumonia shot. You know, I had, what have I had? I have a shingle shot. I've had a shingle shot. So I keep up with all my stuff. And you can do it now, at least in New York. I don't know about where you are, but you can do it at the pharmacy.
You can do that here everywhere.
Yeah.
The federal government pays for it.
Yeah. So, you know, we've gotten all our shots. I feel like I'm a puppy, a newborn puppy, and I've gotten all my shots. And, you know, but I mean, these people who are anti-vaxxers are just, they're terrible. They're just terrible because they don't base anything on science, you know? So, I mean, so if your kid dies of the measles and you were an anti-vaxxer, fuck you. You know?
Well, except that the problem is that you expose a whole lot of other people.
Oh, yeah.
With the kids.
Well, part of the problem we had here in New York.
Why do you think there's so many cases of measles this year? The most since something like just after World War II, I think I read.
One of the reasons is here in New York is the Hasidic community. The Jewish Hasidics refuse to vax.
Not the only ones.
And in spite of the fact that their rabbis have told them it's okay.
But they are not the only ones.
I know they're not the only ones, but they certainly have caused a big problem in this city.
But they're not the only ones. You really must acknowledge that.
And by the way, they then send those kids to schools, and those kids give other kids the
But
measles.
so do the ones that aren't Hasids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There are people who do it for non-religious purposes too, because they read the internet too much, and these anti-vax posts that people make about how.
I read this morning that the state of California is looking to pursue some kind of action against 4 physicians who have not given children vaccinations because their parents didn't want it. And California has recently become a state where no excuse is acceptable. Every kid is vaccinated.
Yeah.
But doctors are now, if the parent asks, apparently, or they're looking into these several doctors who seem to have not given the shots because the parents just asked them not to. And that's not the law in California.
Well, I mean, can a doctor force a parent to have their kid vaccinated? I mean,
state can, and it has in California.
Well, the state can, but they should go after the parents, because if the parents refuse to let their kid get a shot.
You know what?
And
Can
you're
we
a
not
doctor.
discuss this?
Well, no, but I mean,
Nowhere to go with this. We all know this.
well, I don't know that I would blame the doctor. If the doctor were against vaccinations, then I would go after the doctor. But if the parents said, no, I don't want my kid vaccinated.
So you don't get to.
Well, but these parents have been terrible, some of them. I mean, it's just been horrible what's happened. And, the thing is, we've wiped out a lot of diseases through vaccinations and through...
The thing that what we've wiped out and what's made the major difference is that we pretty well wiped out all the childhood diseases. I don't know if you remember, but I did when I was a kid. I may have mentioned this before, that every year, a couple of times, there would be, what's that word? There would be stickers on people's doors, and there's a word that they couldn't leave the house and nobody could go in.
Quarantine.
What?
Quarantine.
Yes. And that for smallpox, I don't know about chicken pox, whooping cough, diphtheria, all those kid diseases, mumps and so on. That what used to happen, there used to be lots and lots and lots of kids died before age 5, and it was because of those childhood diseases.
Right.
Now they don't, because we can take care of them, except for these few people, these few anti-vaxxer people. But it's truly a miracle compared to how many kids used to die of childhood diseases. It's really amazing.
Also, we start to get diseases back again because parents are so confident that it's not a problem anymore. That they just don't do it.
I mean, if the younger people who are the ones having babies, of course, they don't remember these things like the quarantine stickers, or up until the vaccine. And when I was in high school, every year when we went back to school in the fall, 1 or 2 kids didn't return because of polio. Mm-hmm. And every single year, 1 or 2 in your class didn't come back.
Right.
And do you remember that for 2 Sundays, successive Sundays in a row, everybody in America, every person in America went to their local school, lined up, got a sugar cube, and everybody was protected from polio.
There's a story.
Amazing thing.
You remember Dave Garroway, who was a TV morning personality, first host of the Today Show. And he loved to tell this story about how he was going to a testimonial dinner for Dr. Jonas Salk. And he was getting all dressed up, and his son said to him, "Where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to a dinner. I'm going to honor a man named Dr. Jonas Salk." And he said, "Well, what did he do to get a testimonial?" And Dave Garroway said to the kid, "He cured polio." And the kid looked up at him and said, "What's polio?" Mm-hmm. Now that is a testimonial. Salk was great. Sabin, who invented the application on a sugar cube, is what really put it over the top.
It's easy to do. No kid is going to scream.
Kids hated getting shots. They could take a sugar cube, yummy, okay, And I remember I had the sugar cube. I remember it had a little blue dot on it. That's where they dropped the vaccine. And I think you had to go back for a second one a couple of weeks later. And literally in our lifetime, we wiped out a single disease.
No, we wiped out many more. We were alive during the period that they found the vaccines for diphtheria, whooping cough, measles, smallpox, all of that. There's a whole list of them that somehow, starting in the late 30s when penicillin, an antibiotic, was discovered, just one discovery after another came all through like the 10 or 15 years following World War II, until we pretty much wiped out every childhood disease. Really awful one no one can figure out is cancer.
Well,
there's two, but that's the big, most widespread one.
Cancer may not wind up being one disease. It may be many.
As everybody has said, yes.
But here's the thing about polio that's kind of interesting. I read a book on polio, and it was fascinating. Do you know why polio all of a sudden it came into existence? It didn't really exist prior to a certain point, to any great extent. Do you know why it came into being?
I don't know.
You ready for this? Cleanliness. Where before, when we had a much filthier society, you were kind of inoculated against this particular disease.
I'd want to see the source on that.
No, I have a book on polio, and they list that.
I don't know the source. Being in a book doesn't make it right.
That's well, I've heard from several different people, and several different sources, that the main reason why polio caught on was because we had started to clean up the society.
You can't say it caught on. That's not, movie
all right. On. Yeah, it became a fad. But you know what I'm saying. Don't.
Come on.
You love the. Really,
I'm so wound up by how bad news writing online is these days that I catch everything. It's it gets worse every morning.
That's also because you're an old broad. Anyway.
It's true. I'm just a cranky old lady, crabby old lady.
Yeah. But the point is that they said that it was the way we had started cleaning up everything. I mean, there was no more manure in the streets and whatever, that caused this disease to start happening, and it happened in younger children because the older parents had already kind of been inoculated against it by the previously unclean society.
I've had enough of this disease talk, and it's time for us to go, right?
No, it's not. We've still got 4 more minutes. What other diseases haven't we talked about?
I don't want to talk
How
about
about Trump disease?
I know more about disease than I care to day in and day out. Let's talk about something else.
How about the Trump disease that has gone on in this country?
It's bad. I've lost all optimism for the future of America completely.
Really? I mean, you don't think
the damage he's done, if we started fixing it tomorrow morning, couldn't be couldn't be fixed in decades now. It's that bad.
I have a hard time.
There are now 100 and change of environmental regulations that have been wiped away, aren't there anymore. And the people could go in and dig for coal or whatever else in places that were preserved before. And I mean, that's just one example. It's just about every week if you read the back pages, because the news media doesn't highlight it, is that there are more and more regulations that are good for the earth and good for people that have been wiped away, that don't exist, and corporations can do pretty much anything they want.
Is he doing this out of stupidity? Is he doing this out of?
I don't know. Everybody debates it. I don't really care.
I don't think. I don't perceive him as a purely political person.
No, he's not. He's that it comes out that way because he's president. But what he is selfish, mean, evil.
I think,
and that's not exaggerating.
No, I don't think you're exaggerating at all. I've been watching. My wife she hasn't been forcing me. She's been inflicting upon me or making me watch The West Wing, which I had never seen. The West Wing.
What? It's I would say one of the top 5 television shows.
I know. I'm watching it now, so give me a break. All right. You know,
I'd enjoy it. I just rewatched it for the first time since it was first aired, and it's just brilliant. It's stunningly brilliant.
But believe it or not, it holds up. It's not. It doesn't look antiquated.
Just saw it a couple months ago.
Yeah. But I watch it and I see this president at work, and I cannot imagine Trump being that way in the White House, being that presidential.
He isn't.
Huh?
We know he isn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just a very lazy president who goes on whim and listens to Ivanka as to what he should do next. You know, I mean,
did you see what they did to Ivanka after the little video of her busting up a conversation among Theresa May and Christine Lagarde and a couple of others at that meeting?
Mm-hmm.
And she just kind of inserted herself in and started yakking away. I don't usually follow these things online, but I did. It came into my email box from someone, and people started inserting her in every historical thing that ever happened. So she was there with Roosevelt and Stalin at Yalta, and they put her with Martin Luther King on "I Have a Dream" speech, and on and on and on and on. I mean, hundreds of them. They were so funny.
Yeah. I just quickly, because we've actually run out of time in about 5
You could cut a whole lot of the stuff that we were talking about.
No. I found it fascinating. Anyway, but I did want to ask you quickly, what was your takeaway from the debates?
I only watched the first 30 minutes of the first one, and to me, I don't know what all this big deal is, that they were same old, same old.
Yeah. But
I mean, every single line that came out of every mouth was rehearsed until it was just dead.
Yeah, it was all the same old, and if I'm elected president, I will make for a better America.
Right. Exactly.
But the second debate...
I mean, that doesn't make some of them more interesting as a president than some of the others, but I don't think... the other big mistake... the Democrats are really good at making every bad mistake you can in political things, and they're already doing it again. And one of them is allowing, what is it now, 25 people to run for the nomination for president. And also, by the way, hello, everybody, it is 17 months until we vote.
Yeah.
In England, they announce a vote. They get to campaign for 25 days, and then they vote. I like that one.
No, I like that too. But you know who's not going to like it? People like MSNBC, CNN, Fox. They love this thing. They were touting this the day after Trump got elected. They said,
that goes back many votes.
Yeah,
it's been happening for a long time.
I've said this before. I'll say it again. The primaries are only a recent affectation of our political process, all right? There was a time when we didn't have primaries. What we did is we held a convention, and then at that convention they went in and they fought amongst each other, and somebody came out victorious and said, here's our candidate. And then the other party would do the same thing, and then you would hold an election. That whole process started in about...
Nixon. It was not from Kennedy.
August, September, somewhere around in there, and then you just had the campaigning period after the last convention was over, and that was it. That's how we should be doing it.
Well, not going to happen.
We've turned it into a reality show.
But it's 24/7, and it starts, as you said. The first time I noticed it was the first Obama election. When I turned on the news the next morning after the results were in with my coffee, I don't remember who, but the first thing I heard was XX, I don't know the name of the person, has announced he's running for president in 2012. That was the first thing, the first morning after the election.
And
now it's that it happens every 4 years.
The way these things
is someone announces they're running for president.
The way these things look, when I see like Lester Holt and Rachel Maddow and Jose Ballart and those people sitting there at that table asking the questions, I'm wondering, where's Simon Cowell? You know,
I don't know who that is.
He was the host of American Idol. He's one of the judges on American Idol. It
What
looks.
is, I don't know what that is.
It was a talent competition show, you know,
Okay.
like, as there are so many. And I'm just saying that's exactly what it looked like. You know, it was American Idol for politics, and I just, you know, I mean, I just don't think we need it this early. And why they're holding the debates, I have no idea. And by the way, when did we start running commercials in the middle of debates? You know, come on. Come
I
on.
didn't know that we ever
You know,
did.
NBC, you can take 2 hours out and not make money. Okay? Would be really nice.
Well, it's the way it runs.
Anyway, so do you have anybody you like out of these people? Because I think Kamala Harris has come up really good. She went after Biden well.
She's going to be in the same kind of trouble, different topic, but same kind of trouble as Joe Biden pretty soon, and that'll hit her. The one I like who won't come anywhere near getting it is Mayor Pete.
I like Mayor Pete. I like Elizabeth Warren, but you know.
See, I don't want Elizabeth Warren to lecture me for the next 4 years. And that's all she ever does is lecture.
Yeah, she's professorial. Yeah. Nobody wants to be lectured. That's why I think Kamala Harris is take charge. I like her. I really like her.
I mean, if she were my only choice, I would vote for her. But I'm not impressed from. I'm not impressed from an overall.
How about Biden?
I'm really torn about Biden. I'm really torn. I don't think that we should ever vote for somebody because of their age, young or old, but on their qualifications. And even the young ones can die in office. That's why we have a vice president. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
As Kennedy proved. You know, I mean, what, he was 45 or something?
You know? Yeah.
So I know that people are being very, very, very careful about not saying he's too old for the job. On the other hand, when he's on a stage with people from age, 37 up to his age and everything in between, I see in him my personal slowing down.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good way.
I can see it when he takes an extra breath before he starts an answer. I know being in that place where you want an extra second to think about what you're going to say than you wanted 10 years ago. I don't know that that's a hindrance. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's good to have a second thought. But I know that I slow down for the day by 2:30, 3 o'clock. And so does he. You can see his just.
What do you mean? I got up 2 hours ago and I'm slowing down. Anyway.
I'm pulled in two directions on that. I mean, I've spent 15 years writing about ageism, you know, and I think that whoever's the most qualified person should be the person we select.
Well, I'll tell you, let's get into this next time because it all comes down to what we're capable of doing at this age. In that venue, I mean, we can still do a lot of things at our age, but being president is not one of them. Okay. But anyway, let's go. We run really over, which means we
wasted all that time on our disease.
Stop it. Disease is important. If disease didn't exist, what the hell would I have to talk about?
Oh God! What we've got diseases.
By the way, you right now you're looking spectacular. You're looking great. You're looking terrific, and you're not coughing as much. You're not coughing as much either. So.
No, I'm not, because I've got this new medicine and it's working.
Yes, it's working. Ladies and gentlemen, she is at timegoesby.net. That's her blog. Read it. It's great. So's Ronnie Bennett. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
I don't know what was happening with the sound. Oh, now I've got a problem with my fading. Oh well. Oh boy, I give up. One thing or another. I say I can't. Well, there I did it, but then I had to do it again. Okay, well, fuck it. Fuck it. I just, I have no idea why this thing all of a sudden at certain times decides, oh, God damn it. No, I'm having troubles here, folks. These are the nights I just feel like saying the hell with it. No, that's not what I want. This is what I want. I want to make this. Okay, all right. I'm just doing things here, folks. Please excuse me. I run this whole thing, and it's having a problem tonight. Where I can't seem to go from thing to thing. So anyway, let me see here. Let me turn my thing on, and for some reason there are days when I have a thing where I can just push like a button here, and I can go back and forth between pictures, but that doesn't seem to be working at all. So anyway. We'll see. Somebody's calling. Here comes Scott Boddicker, ladies and gentlemen. Hello to Scott Boddicker. Let me see here. Let me immediately put him in a thing here. There's Scott. Let me see here. Okay, Scott. And then I have to fade over to him. All right. Oh, no, wait a minute. I just faded. Come on. Come on. There we go. All right. Okay. I hope we're okay. Boy, everything's fucking up on me tonight. What? Everything's fucking up on me tonight. The sound was
kind of breaking up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, my sound was fucking up. Here comes, let me see here. Here comes. I've got to put Phil in somewhere here. Let's see, scuba diver. There we go. All right. Okay. There he is. Hello, Phil. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine tonight. I wasn't feeling so good the other night, and I probably needed to say, I don't feel good. And I should get off instead of just not participating. So my apologies for that. And I feel better tonight. But I've been having what you have all week.
What's that? What was that?
Exploding poops.
Oh, really? No, I didn't have that. That was not my problem.
No, you've had it for a while.
Oh, that's my, whatever.
Yeah, the IBS.
IBS.
I don't know what I ate, what pill I'm taking, that now all of a sudden for the last week. And then I'm sitting in my thing. And in this apartment, the only air conditioner is in the living room. So I have what do they call those things? A swamp cooler. And it actually made the room more muggy and uncomfortable than if I didn't use it.
Right.
So... when you said, "Hey, if you're not going to participate, don't call in," it's okay, because I wasn't participating.
Yeah. Well,
I never participated.
Yeah, but that's your shtick. I mean, that's why we love you.
Yeah. Because you quit, you sit in the corner and shut up.
Well, I took a Xanax again last night, and I really shouldn't because it throws me off. It throws me off on everything. But we even had sound problems there at the end with Ronnie, so I don't know. I give up.
I don't know. Nice interview.
Oh yeah, nice interview. Yeah. Here comes Tony. Let me put Tony on. Well, hold on a second. I gotta. Now we got his picture, so now he. Oh no, I still don't have his. His name still doesn't come up. Here we go. Come on. There we go, Tony. There we go. Boom. Come on, Tony. Come on.
Oh, I'm logged in.
Well, wait a minute. I just put his name up there. See, everything's going wrong tonight. No, I sometimes I do that and it doesn't grab. Okay, there we should go now. There we go. See how easy that was? Okay, thank God we're only doing 2 nights this week. You know.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. It's a photo contest Wednesday.
You mean it's go beat up on the old people Wednesday?
Absolutely. I'm going to beat them until they can't raise their hands to vote on the photos.
On the photos. You know? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
You know.
I might not be here either, Alan. I'm going to go to a patriotic concert with SG.
Oh, really?
Are you going to get a pair of those Nike shoes with the Betsy Ross flag on the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a pair. And I don't even like Nike type shoes. They're going for $2,000.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the black market because they pulled them off the shelves. Except for all the ones
I don't
that
know.
the kids
I
who work there
don't
grab.
know why though.
Kaepernick says the flag supports slavery.
Well, while I agree with Kaepernick on a lot of things, I think he's
It's
full of
us.
shit on that one.
Yeah, well,
that just happened to be, unfortunately, the first flag that we ever had. It's
Yeah.
the Betsy Ross flag.
Yeah, 13 stars in a circle, I think, representing the 13 colonies.
Yeah, and
13's unlucky.
No, actually, it's a lucky number for me. There is something about 13 that's lucky. I don't remember what it is. It has to do with the dollar bill, and that things are in 13 and not Masonic, but the Masons have something about the number 13, but I can't put 2 and 2 together. Remember what they were. There's like, oh yeah, if you look on the back of the bill, dollar bill, the eagle is holding 13 arrows and some flower or something with 13 something on it, 13 leaves and 13 berries. And there's a whole bunch of stuff about the number 13, and I guess it has to do.
But I getting back to this Kaepernick thing. I mean, when I heard it, I went, you're being a little too particular about this. That is a historical flag. Nobody ever said it represented slavery. There isn't somebody being whipped on it or anything like that. Yes, I realize that was the flag that was around when slavery was around. But, what makes our flag now any more egregious that way?
I guess he wouldn't stand for that one either. But, with Kaepernick.
I believe the right to stand for the flag is up to each individual and their own personal morality. Just like I found it egregious when they added God to the Pledge of Allegiance. And because up until when I grew up, when I was in school, there was no God in the Pledge of Allegiance. It was simply
when did they start the Pledge of Allegiance?
I think it was they started the Pledge of Allegiance years earlier, but
in schools.
But the Pledge of Allegiance was I'm turning my air conditioning down a little bit here.
Keep bragging about the air. I don't have any.
It's driving me crazy too. Anyway, when I first was in school, we did the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance I can't remember. It goes back probably forever. All right.
I mean, I did it in first grade, I remember.
Yeah,
that was my first radio gig.
But when I had it, when I said the Pledge of Allegiance in grade school, when I was in like kindergarten and first grade and second grade and third grade, I noticed that Scott's looking it up. It didn't have Under God in it. Under God was added in the 50s because of the communist scare.
Oh,
And that's why they added it. And it was
They were godless.
It was I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
Yeah.
for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And there was no under God in there. And when they started going under God, I went, "There's something wrong with that." And I was a kid. and
You
thought
know,
there was
when
something
I
wrong with it.
was in 6th grade or 5th grade, I was the guy that said the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning over the PA system for the whole school.
Mhm.
And my first
see that.
radio gig,
Really?
also unpaid. And but I don't remember doing the under God. But it's been so long ago, I can't remember. Other than doing it, remembering the pledge.
Yeah. Well, I just find it a little egregious.
That was in the 60s.
But anyway, so I'm sensitive to these things, and I just don't think that, I mean, I don't like the idea of the flag being on the shoes. Okay, period. I think that should be put into question if anything's going to be put into question. I don't want to buy a pair of Nikes with the American flag on it. I'm sorry.
People who
It's-
buy those don't wear them.
It's so jingoistic.
Or you think they're saving them?
I did a job in a guy's house that had a special cabinet built
For
for
sneakers?
his hundreds of pairs of sneakers, and they were all the same size. And they spent $10,000 on a cabinet to store all of these sneakers behind glass. It looked like a shoe store, except they were all, different colors and things like that. People get into these sneakers like art. So having a pair of sneakers with the flag celebrating July 4th, they're not meant to be worn. I think people use them as art.
I'm sorry. I wear my fucking shoes.
Yeah, I mean,
I
gotta
don't,
wear
don't,
sneakers.
and I don't think those were particularly artful. But of course they're worth a fortune now if you've got a pair of them.
Yeah, yeah. 2 G's they're going for on the black market.
You hold on to them, they'll go for more.
I think they'll lose their value
no,
like
they
a
won't.
lead balloon.
No, they won't because they're rare. But of course, things only have value depending upon how many people want them.
You know what holds the most value, for instance, with cars? If you look at a car that was extremely popular, let's say in the 50s, like the 57 Chevy.
Yeah.
And then, here it is, 2019. They were very, very popular, so they have very high value now. You take a car that didn't have it wasn't that popular in the 50s, and it doesn't have anywhere near the value that it does today. So what I've found is things that are the most valuable were popular at the time, but there aren't a lot of them available today.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, what
That
I'm
makes
saying
no
is
sense
that,
at all.
that just because something's rare doesn't make it valuable.
it doesn't hurt though.
No, wait a minute. If it's not rare and it's common, then it's readily available.
Well, if it was popular at one point,
If it was popular and all of them have rusted into hulks, and
Right.
that there are only a few of them left, then it becomes worth something.
that's right.
Well, I
That's
mean, I
right.
don't get what you're trying to say, Phil.
Well,
you were saying quite the opposite.
Yeah, I
want
was
something
saying
rare.
that things
That's really
like
more.
sneakers, for instance, if everybody loved them and now they're no longer available, they have more value now than they would have had after time, and they become rare. But originally they were popular. So if you had something that was not popular originally, no matter how rare they are, they still don't bring much value.
Yeah, yeah. Look
Does that
who's
make sense?
joined us. Patrick has joined us. No, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, Phil. If you had a car, let's say, here's a good example, Studebaker,
Right.
okay?
Not very valuable today.
Well, I don't know if there are a lot of them around. I think there are certain
aren't.
ones. If you got I think there was a Studebaker Avanti. I think was one of the cars
Yeah.
that they made. I think if you have an Avanti, it's worth something.
It's worth something, but it isn't worth, let's say, a 57 Chevy convertible is worth a lot more than a Studebaker Avanti. And
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it is. Scott can look it up.
Scott, you were looking something up there. You were looking up the Pledge of Allegiance, right?
Yes, I was.
And what did you find out?
Well, it was originally written in 1892 by some guy, Bellamy, Arthur Bellamy, maybe. And
when?
But it was only what?
Well, when was it?
1898, I think.
1892. It was written, and it was officially recognized by Congress in 1992. So I don't know when. It didn't say when they started saying it in schools and whatnot.
Yeah, but
did they say when they added in under God?
They did, but I didn't.
It was like 51 or 52. It was as a result of the communist witch hunt and scare. Yeah. So.
All they have to do is come to Gabnet, and they'll find all the commies.
1953.
1953.
And it was Francis Bellamy. I miss.
Yeah, and when did you say? Because we missed it. When was it officially made into the Pledge of Allegiance, the official allegiance?
Well, Congress recognized it in 1942.
42. Okay. See, again, that may have been as a result of the war.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, I don't like the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll tell you why. How dare you ask me to pledge allegiance to my country? That should be a given. You know, and
did
simply
you swear
say
allegiance?
and say a bunch of words to pledge my allegiance is kind of a false note, because if I was, let's say, a communist, I'd pledge allegiance. Why not? Just to make the rest of you think I wasn't a communist.
You know, when I got sworn in as a cop, you take an oath. You'll uphold the Constitution and the laws, as they pertain. And I took it seriously. And I think a lot of people take the pledge seriously. When you got into the Navy, didn't you take a pledge? And
I really don't remember, to be honest with you. I don't think so.
You did swear an oath to the Constitution.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
I think
that's required.
But it wasn't a pledge of allegiance. You know, allegiance is saying, do you allege? You know, are you? What's the word I'm looking for here? Do you love your country, basically? And I don't think that's a question anybody has the right to ask or to force me to attest to. You know, why should they? It should be assumed.
Yeah.
I got silence out of Phil.
It's funny.
I got silence out of Phil.
Well, no, because I was thinking about it, and I was saying, can you love your country and not pledge allegiance?
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
Yeah. And so I was agreeing with you.
I'm saying that it's jingoistic. It's oh, you won't say the Pledge of Allegiance? You must be a communist.
Well,
no, I'm
true.
not.
You must be.
No, I'm not.
Democratic socialist, same thing.
No, I'm not even a democratic socialist. You know, actually, when people used to say, "What are you, a commie or something?" I'd go, "Yeah, I am." So, what are you gonna do about it now?
It.
You know, because it's the same thing I used to do when people go, "What are you, queer or something?" I say, "Yes, I happen to be a homosexual," just to make them feel fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to make me feel uncomfortable by thinking they were saying something they shouldn't have said.
I thought it was because you were trying to get beat up as a kid.
I didn't have to work hard at that.
Just being a Jew, right?
Yeah, just being a Jew in an all-Italian neighborhood kind of helped, you know.
Or in Marin. There wasn't that many Jews in Marin when you were growing
we
up.
had a Marin Jewish Community Center, and it was in a house in San Rafael that they had bought. And I think maybe there were like 100 families, maybe.
Yeah.
Jewish families in all of Marin.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the population of Marin right now is 200,000. I don't know what it was when you were living there.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of Jews there now. They have a big Jewish community center. When I was asked to go to the Jewish Community Center to interview George Carlin a few years back, quite a few years back, and I drove up to it, and I went, "Oh fuck, this is the Jewish Community Center." You know,
yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It was used. It was out near the.
It's next to the Frank Lloyd Wright.
Right next to the Gattaca. Yeah.
That's a beautiful building too, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that was done by Frank Lloyd Wright. That was. I remember when it was built. Actually, it's the city. It's the county.
The county offices.
Offices and the courts and things like that are in there. And when Frank Lloyd Wright was commissioned to do it, and he came up with the plans, and they built it, everybody hated it. I didn't. I thought it was terrific. I thought it was really amazing what they did with the place. It was just incredible.
It looked like the Jetsons.
Well, I mean, Frank Lloyd Wright's works were timeless. Right. You know, they had no date timestamp on them. You go out and look at it today, and it looks as modern as anything else that's around it, because its styling is, I don't know how to describe it. To begin with, he never believed in landscaping. He would build.
It was always part of the.
He would build to the land, yeah. And this thing is like two kind of like, I guess, long tubes that go out and stretch across two hills, and it's amazing, and yet. And if anybody wants to see what the Marin County Center looks like,
Civic
Center. There's a movie called Gattaca, and it is the Gattaca Corporation. They use that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. But I remember when they first built it, and I've never been able to find the house since. But when I was a kid, I noticed that somebody was building a house over on a hill across from our house. And so I took my car and I drove up there, and I went up there, and it was very unusual. It was a very unusual home. And this guy was building it himself. And I said, so I got out of the car and I talked to him. I said, "Hey, this is really nice, but you're building it yourself, right?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "A guy I work for built the plans for it." I said, "Who?" He said, "Frank Lloyd Wright." Wow. He said, "I was working with him on the Marin County Civic Center." He said, "and he just drew me these quick plans for a house."
Wow.
And
very cool.
And that house is there somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it since. Yeah.
Mm.
And then
maybe somebody from Marin will call tonight.
The other Frank, in case people don't know what we're talking about, Frank Lloyd Wright was maybe one of the, I'd say, greatest architects of our time. A lot of stuff they use today in office buildings are concepts of Frank Lloyd Wright, like the endless window. If you ever go in a place and there's a window, but you can't see the top of it because there's a lip coming down. Well, I mean, the effect is this window goes forever, but it doesn't. It just goes up about a foot. That was one of his concepts. But anyway, when I lived in Chicago, I moved to a place called Oak Park, and it was right next to Oak. What was this town right next to it? But on the town right next to it, there was an entire street in which every home was built by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Wow.
Because he moved in there, built a house, he had friends and neighbors, so he gave them plans and made plans for their homes, and the whole street is like nothing but Frank Lloyd Wright homes. It's like a Frank Lloyd Wright housing tract.
Now that's valuable.
Yeah. Oh, that's valuable. Yeah, that's valuable.
They're priceless. I used to have a book with all his designs in it, and there was that one that he built in Pennsylvania that was like the falls.
Yeah,
it was,
right.
I forget the
again.
Total...
He didn't do anything to the
area around
it. He literally built the house over the fall.
Well, and the falls were part of the house.
Yeah. It was amazing. He was just amazing. And they hated the Marin County Civic Center. In fact, they built onto it
some other sheds or things like that to the side that don't really fit in.
Now, the Jewish Community Center is like right next to it almost.
It's down the road.
Just down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't remember the design of that. Did it have any
similarity? I don't remember it that much. All I remember is it wasn't like that little house that I got bar mitzvahed in, you know. Yeah. So there was a lot of work, you know, that went into it. I thought it was terrific. Yeah. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing terrific.
Really?
Yes.
You always are doing terrific. You're never doing shitty.
That's because he's an up kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you know what you enjoy? Tanforan Mall. Alex, you're familiar with that. It's in San Bruno.
Yeah.
Well, right now there's an active shooter there. 2 people, I think, are dead and two others are wounded.
That's what they get for going to the Tanforan Mall.
Right, but they got sales on now.
Oh, really?
And there's not too much in the way of crowds.
Really? Is this just news that's come over the wire?
It's been going on for a few hours.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that'll dominate the news in San Francisco. We didn't get anything about it here.
Really?
No. No. All we got news about is Lee Iacocca died.
94.
94? I thought he was 9. Maybe he's a little older than that. Hold on a second.
I had it.
Let me look at my watch here. Lee Iacocca.
94.
Yeah, hold on a second. Not a man. It doesn't say here.
It's on Drudge. Column 3, middle of column.
Yeah, there was a thing today where the vice president was supposed to go to New Hampshire or someplace like that, and then he was called back. But I never got the story of why he was called back.
What are two different stories going out?
Yeah.
One says he never left.
Yeah.
Says he did get in the limo and was on his way to the airport. So they're conflicting stories.
But is there the reason why they told him not to go?
Yeah, his press secretary, she said there was nothing health related to the president or the vice president, and there was nothing security related to the president or the vice president. And to that, I say bullshit.
Gee, maybe it's that cardiac arrest that Trump has been working so hard for.
They were saying that Kim Jong-un is the one that's having issues, that he's wheezing when he speaks, and that they think his obesity is.
But as I watched him over the weekend, he looks thinner than Trump.
Well, but Trump is a lot bigger than him.
You don't think he's thinner, Scott?
I think they're tied in the fat off.
His neck is really wide too, and so they had a doctor on that was talking about that. They think that Kim Jong-un has some issues.
What network was that?
I don't remember. It was probably Fox.
Whenever you can't remember, it's always Fox.
I don't not remember on purpose. I don't. It could have been NBC, and I wouldn't remember. It's I don't write this stuff down. But
really?
Let's see. Was there anything else happening today? We got the shoes.
I'm trying to think.
We got the active shooter.
Yeah. Well, it's your active shooter. We don't have an active shooter here.
Well, it's your hometown.
Big deal.
I'll tell you quickly what I did do. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm so tired tonight, but it could be from the Xanax. I decided to go back to a doctor.
Yeah.
Because this thing was still going on, And I went back to the City MD again, but I went to a different location. And I saw the doctor, and I told him I'd been to another one of the doctors, and he was worried about the heart, but the heart wasn't anything to do with it. And I went to my doctor, and he felt it was maybe allergies, and he checked my heart, and I was fine. And the guy did something neither my doctor or this other doctor did. Took a flashlight and looked down my throat. He said, "You have the most swollen uvula I've seen in a while." He said, "It's probably some kind of irritation from the pollen and from whatever. Here's prednisone, 5 tablets for 5 days. Take it, and you're going to feel a hell of a lot better. And the next day, I feel like 75% better. And today, I felt, at one point, 100% better. Now I'm sliding back to 75, but supposedly, the prednisone, you're going yes, right, Patrick?
You know
about
prednisone? That's amazing.
Didn't Jerry Lewis swell up to like 300 pounds
yeah,
on prednisone?
but he was on it for years, okay?
Yeah.
And there is a weight gain component to it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm up to 195 today, and I think maybe part of it might be
Does it cause you to hold water or something?
Could cause you to hold water, do a lot of things like that. But
Retain.
you only need about 5 days of this stuff, and they cleared it up before. Do you have something cleared up with it, Patrick? Because you seem to know the drug.
No, my mom did. She's had various things similar to what you've been talking about over the years with it's been either allergies or pollen and things like that. And she's been on prednisone a couple of times, and it's been like an overnight change for her where, just like you said, the next day you're feeling 75% better. So,
yeah.
That's what I figured he would have put you on is prednisone.
I was having a little breathing problems today, and again, but it seems to be working,
When I had my hair transplants, they gave me prednisone,
Really?
and they gave me a lot of it, and I reacted to it. I said, I don't feel good on
Why
this
would
stuff.
they give you prednisone
Well, for your hair.
your hair plugs?
Because they were gonna, poke holes in my head, and
they'd give you an antibiotic for that.
No, it wasn't an antibiotic. It was. I'm pretty sure it was prednisone.
What if they?
Prednisone.
It didn't make me
Prednisone is for inflammation.
right. And I guess it made it easier for them to stick the plugs in.
I think they gave you something else. I think you're wrong about that. What are you saying, Scott? What are you nodding your head for, Scott?
I have no idea what you're using. Yeah, you used it for your uvula, and he's using it for hair plugs. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And Patrick's using
Patrick.
it to get taller.
Patrick?
It's not working either.
It's a reaction.
Remember, a lot of these drugs,
I take it.
a lot of these drugs, they can be used for different things. For instance, I'm on a drug, clonazepam, which is an antidepressant, but I have the prescription because it also works with spasticity. Because I have spasm at night when I sleep with my legs, so it worked for that, which you would never guess that an antidepressant for one person would work as an anti-spasm medication for me, and that's what it does. So, who knows? Maybe they did give him prednisone. I wouldn't have guessed that, but
I'm pretty sure it was.
Well, it could be. I'm just amazed with some of the medication, all of the shit. If you read what it's used for, this doesn't even look like it's related to one another. And doctors must know what they're doing. Mine did. I mean, I don't have depression, but my legs don't move around at night, so it worked for that.
Yeah, but the prednisone, I looked it up. It's used for inflammation. It's also used, believe it or not, prostate cancer.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, I have to go get my blood test on Monday, and I'm thinking actually it might lower my my PSA count. Yeah. So we'll see. But I'll be through with it on Thursday. It'll be my last dose. So who knows?
Yeah.
But I mean, if
you whack off, it'll get higher.
It was amazing how I felt the next day. I just felt, really terrific. I felt a little less well this evening, but during the day today, I mentioned to Marjorie when she came home. I said I feel like 100%. Over where I was feeling shitty for 3 weeks.
How is her knee?
Oh yeah, she do.
Who gives a shit? It's all about me.
We give it. We give a shit.
It's all about me. No, her knee is still hurts. You know, but it's getting better. I hear less complaints about the knee. Sometimes when it's going to rain or something like that, oh, my knee is killing me today. You know, it's going to be a year, if that, before she is 100%. So.
You wanna know something? I read an article which I sent to my employees because they do this and it gets me really pissed off. At a casino,
What, they take days off?
No. Sometimes that's a blessing. They at a casino called Jack's Casino, a sign that said "wet floor" fell down and it was on the ground flat, and the employees saw it and didn't do anything about it. A woman walks into the casino, trips over the sign, and breaks her kneecap.
Oh my God.
A jury just awarded her $3 million. $3 million for falling over a sign that said "wet floor."
Well, you know, Marjorie is accident prone. And she's had a couple suits in her time, but I think we got to find her something like that. That'll take care of her.
Yeah,
for a while.
bring her over to Jack's. We already know what it's worth.
Yeah.
Jack's Casino.
Yeah.
But it was in Nevada.
Do I feel
I don't
sorry
know
for the
where.
casino owner? I don't know if I do or I don't. You know,
I've had a problem with my employees putting samples in front of the front door on the floor for people to see. And I say, you can't do that, and you certainly can't walk away from it. And finally, I wrote one of them up last week and said, if you do it again, I'm firing you.
Oh my! Can they collect unemployment?
And then I saw that article about the casino, and I forwarded it to all the salespeople.
How many people do you have working for you, Phil?
5.
You send emails? So you'll send them emails?
I forwarded the article.
Oh.
yeah.
You ready to can somebody? So
I was,
Really?
young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I once was sued and they got 10 grand. Somebody with a beach Zori on. She's walking into the store, and the beach Zori, you know how the front of it went underneath her toe on the welcome mat in the front of the store.
She slipped.
The insurance company paid her $10,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Was she hurt or just?
She claimed she was, but she didn't
She
even
probably had
fall
one of those
down.
fake
She didn't fall down.
braces.
She
No?
just stumbled, and I saw it. I saw it happen.
Jeez.
$10,000.
Why doesn't anything ever like that ever happen to me?
Yeah.
You know.
When I
And
left,
Marjorie never even got their name.
Never got their name. No.
we had an uncle in my family. My mother never invited him to the house. Uncle Jawan. All he did was sue people. Alex, he never worked this
Of course.
guy.
I got to tell you, with Marjorie,
He fell in front of the house. They walked him to the street and laid him in a pothole. He sued the city. This how fucking my grandmother wanted to kill this guy. Every time we had him over Christmas, she was scared he was always gonna fall in the house and sue. She hated
Tony,
him.
Alex was going to say something.
Well, what I
sorry.
was going to say in the case of Marjorie's situation, you know, sometimes when you have something like what happened to Marjorie, you immediately don't think anything's broken.
Right.
You know.
Your adrenaline is pumping.
Well, to begin with, your endorphins kick in and the pain level. I mean, I remember once I was going to a woman's house, and I got into the street, walked out into the street to hail a cab. And as I walked out in the street, those were the days when these streets were in terrible shape, and there was a giant piece of rock, and I pivoted on it and fell into the street, injuring my knee. But I got in the cab and I went to this woman's house, and she lived up 3 flights of stairs, and I get up the first flight, I'm fine. Second flight, my leg's starting to hurt. By the third flight, I'm really in pain. And what happened is, initially, your endorphins kick in, and it works like morphine. You don't feel it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you realize, oh man, I really fucked myself up. And that's what Marjorie, I think, started. I mean, she knew there was something wrong, but she didn't know the extent of it until she got to her office, and then it was too late to go find these tourists.
Well, somebody collected $3 million on the same kind of injury.
Yeah,
So,
probably. Yeah, well, what you have to prove is that the injury incapacitated you in a way where it impacted your income or it did something. You can't just say.
There's no pain and suffering for a broken kneecap.
Well, I mean, there's the actual suit, and then there's also damages for negligence or whatever. You know.
Well, I wonder what the mafia guys would pay when they break some guy's kneecaps.
That's free of charge.
No, they got no. Excuse me, Phil. You got it wrong. They got paid for breaking somebody's kneecaps.
I got a new job. I break your kneecaps.
Yeah. Well, you broke my kneecaps. I'm going to sue you, Mario. You know.
Let's get the rug guy.
I gave Tony a hard time for piling on the other night.
Yeah.
What did I tell you had to do on the air?
Cut my thumb off.
Your pinky.
I needed to cook my pink. I needed to cook though. Tomorrow's chicken.
Let me throw something out.
He had to make
here.
amends. I told him he had to cut his pinky off on the show.
Because this is big in the news, and it's I think an important thing to bring up is our president. It's the 4th of July in Washington D.C. And what do we do at the 4th of July? They have a nice little concert on the mall. They have a little parade. You know, everybody.
Tanks, fireworks.
No
flyover.
No tanks, no flyovers, and
No
our
tanks
president decided he wants tanks. You know, and I'm not going to say you're welcome, but anyway, he wants tanks, and they can't. It turns out they can't put them on the streets of Washington D.C. because it will tear the shit up out of the streets.
Not true. You can put rubber things around the tracks that allow you to operate.
Why do we want our implements of war marching down the street on a 4th of July parade?
Well,
what is
like
the logic here, Phil?
Well, the soldiers can take a break by resting on the tank as they drive.
But all I'm saying
Kim
is,
Jong-un does it. Kim Jong-un shows
of
his tanks on the
course,
street.
and so do the Chinese, and so do the Russians. Who are these countries anyway, Phil?
Competition for ratings, at least.
Yeah. I mean, the reason he wants it is because he was impressed by it when he saw it in France.
Oh, Scott has his.
Yeah. Yes, Scott.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
What kind of tanks is he going to have on display?
I don't know, but I think bringing in all those tanks on trains, how much is it costing us?
He wants to have brand new Sherman tanks in his parade.
Are Sherman still used, or are they from like World War I?
That's what he asked for. Brand new Sherman tanks.
I thought they were from World War I, aren't they?
World War II. They couldn't use them in '57.
Oh, really?
The guy's an idiot.
You get a deal on used ones.
He's an idiot.
Everything
He's going to have brand new Sherman tanks, all cocked and loaded.
Which, incidentally, by the way, in case you are not familiar, is the name of a porno video, Cocked and Loaded. So
it's better than Locked and Loaded.
Yeah, but he used the term "cocked and loaded." What? Yeah.
He's a moron. Trump.
Well, I mean, he's going to give a speech at the where was it? The Lincoln Memorial? No, is that what he's going to do?
And did you hear his speech? It's only going to be for Republicans. He's handing out tickets for only card-carrying fucking Republicans.
Well, they don't have
how much you got to donate to go?
It's going to be someplace like is it the Lincoln Memorial or it's someplace like that? It's one of those memorials.
It's on the mall somewhere.
It's on the mall somewhere. How dare he say you can't come unless you're a Republican? I thought everybody was allowed to use the mall.
It's like saying only come if you're white.
Well, if he went to the
Republican, you're right, Tony.
And you know what he's going to do? You know what he's going to do? He takes these opportunities. Hold on a second, Phil. He takes these opportunities to bash Democrats, to literally in the speech bash Democrats. He went to the Boy Scouts, okay? He went to the Boy Scout Jamboree, and what did he do? He bashed the Democrats in what was a non-political venue.
And they're little kids.
Huh?
Well,
and they're little kids on top
I used
of
to
it.
build steak houses. He's gonna have this fucking idiot come over here.
Yeah.
He's crazy. The man's nuts.
Hey, he won't be at the Tanforan Mall.
He's just. He's
That's
out.
for damn
shooter.
sure. Look, we've been joined by Bree in Dubai. Yeah. Do they have parades with tanks in Dubai, Bree? No. Okay, he's got his mouth full. That's why he's nodding his head. Oh, we get to see the curtains
when's
tonight.
moving
We
day?
get to see the curtains at Tony's place.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
When's moving day, Bree?
Well, the movers will come on Saturday,
Yeah.
and then we officially fly out on Monday.
Really, you're leaving that fast? Weren't you? Don't you have some kind of obligation to your current job to stay there until you complete it or whatever?
Oh, I did all that stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
But what's been crazy, I tell you, there's so much stress. But the big thing is, what happens here is when you come to the end of, like, when you tell them, hey, I'm going to go. In the last month, they accumulate all the funds that they owe you. They call it end of service agreement, and they hold that until you complete all your obligations. So I completed all my obligations very quickly, but I still live in their housing. So they wanted me to leave the housing before, this would happen. Well, I stayed an extra week to make sure I did everything and got everything done. So essentially, I was being penalized for staying and doing a good job and making sure. So like I've gone in, technically I was done work Sunday, but I've gone in every day, Monday and Tuesday, and to do extra stuff, finish things up, help the new person. So anyway, so they said, okay, we'll release it to you, but I still haven't gotten it. So it's very.
Are they going to charge you back? Are they going to charge you back for the week in the apartment?
No.
Now,
No,
let me ask you this. How far away is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, from where you are right now?
The other side of the world.
7.5 hours flight.
How much?
7.5 hours flight.
Okay, so it's probably about 4,000 miles, right?
5, 6.
Okay.
5, 6?
I saw on the news the other night that there was a big fire in a high-rise in Dubai. Did they just have a really big fire?
Not that I know of, but it does happen. There's a lot of people who smoke out on their balconies. They'll throw the cigarette, and a lot of these high rises are not up to code.
Well, they're up to Dubai code.
They're up to actually British code, I think.
Really?
And the Brits had the problems first.
And bad
But
teeth.
yeah, so anyway, the thing is that I still haven't gotten the money, and in theory, I should be getting dressed and going to the bank right now to close my bank account. But I can't close the bank account because, in theory, they have sent to it, and then I have to send from there to my U.S. account. So, just a lot of stress,
Wow.
I have this feeling in my throat, like I have a pill stuck in it, and I read online it's called globus sensius or something, and it's caused by stress and anxiety.
Well, don't look online for that. Zantac, that's a decongestant. But
They told me this was for the throat thing.
Well, Zantac is
stopping acid in the stomach.
That's an over-the-counter decongestant here in America. Excuse me, for stomach. It's for your stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's prescription over there?
No, it's over the counter.
Oh, it's over the counter. Okay.
Because I don't have insurance right
Well,
now.
you know something. As I say, I had this lump in my throat, and I looked it up, and I was sure I had either what do you call it, esophageal cancer or throat cancer, and it turned out it was a enlarged uvula. Which, in case people don't know what a uvula is, you remember in the cartoons when the mouse gets caught in the cat's mouth and he wants to get out and he starts using that thing as a punching bag? That's
Tonsil.
the uvula.
Okay. It's the same tower that burned before. It was the second time, and it happened Sunday.
It's amazing how out of context you suddenly threw.
The cladding is flammable on the side of the building.
Oh, is that the torch?
It's 79 floors. It was an apartment building.
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually see. No, I can see that when I walk to the grocery store. It's right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Same building, burned again Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I eat in a diner. There's a Syrian diner in the the first floor of that building. It's really good.
You ever tried a Jewish deli there?
Okay,
No
let me
Jewish
ask another question. Let's get off of that. Let me ask another question about this whole thing about the president of the United States, if he wanted to, could he wear a uniform? Huh?
The president of the United States?
Yeah.
They have a jacket with his crest on it, that says, the president. I don't think he has a uniform.
Well, that's why you
the
remember.
Surgeon General does.
Yeah, but I'm saying because the Surgeon General can he?
I don't think so.
Huh.
Because he's supposed to be a citizen commander. He's not he's the commander in chief, but he's not a member of the military as president.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. First Patrick and then Bree. Yes, Patrick.
I forget the name of the gal who was Surgeon General back. I think it was during Reagan's administration.
Yeah.
She wore what looked like a naval uniform. Whenever she was giving any sort of speech or any press photos, she was in what looked to be a naval uniform.
Jocelyn Elders was her name.
But there was another Surgeon General, a man, and I think he was under Reagan as well.
That was the guy with the beard, with the funny beard.
Yeah, the big mustache, I think.
No, with a beard.
Oh, it was a beard?
Mm-hmm.
It's a beard with no mustache.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yes, Bree.
General David Zarnoff.
Who?
RCA, General David Zarnoff. He wasn't a general.
Sarnoff.
Remember? He wore a uniform of a general, and he made all his staff call him a general. But he wasn't a general.
But he wasn't a general. You know
What do they
something?
call that stolen valor?
No, I think you're right. He did. Did he call himself General Sarnoff? Yes, he did.
Yes, he
Because
did.
I remember his history, and his history, you know who he was? What made him famous? He was the guy.
Yeah, Titanic. He was the operator during Titanic.
He was the operator on in the United States, I think, that picked up the signal from the Titanic saying it was sinking. And
That's right. So all the wealthy people and famous people needed to contact him to see if their loved ones were alive. So he made a lot of connections.
Yeah. Yep.
I teach about him, and I've read a lot about him.
Yeah, but he wasn't. So he wasn't a general then, huh?
No.
Okay.
But he did serve. So.
All right. Yes, Scott. Scott has a question.
It's
Scott
C.
up there.
Everett Koop.
That's it. That was it. Yeah. It says the Surgeon General wears a uniform because the organization which she is the chief, the U.S. Public Health Service, is a uniform service. It is not required apparel, but is said to command more respect and authority when at official events and disseminating information.
There we go. And here comes a picture that.
Just the current one. I forget his name. Jerome something.
He's a quack. He's the quack that said that Trump is in perfect health.
But I looked up Surgeon Generals, and I went back, and every one that I found was wearing similar naval uniform. So, and C. Everett Koop was the same thing. And
yeah.
So.
My question is, if Trump is in perfect health, then what am I? You know?
A hypochondriac.
Oh, we just lost Bree, but he's coming back here, so it'll be okay. There we go. Okay. You there, Bree?
You okay?
So yeah, sorry about that. I hit the button. I thought it was mute, and it actually I have Bluetooth.
Well, it was
that happens.
It was the ultimate. It was the ultimate. What do you call it? It was the ultimate mute. So.
I have to hit the screen to mute. Which
You
I
know
don't
something?
Like.
I really have to.
Here.
I really have to say this to the wonderful people at Skype. You really created a shitty program. You know, this should be as simple as is humanly possible for morons to use. And I'm not calling you a moron, Bree, because you're not a moron. And if it were built so morons couldn't fuck it up, you know, but I mean, just everybody we know has troubles with it, you know, because there are just too many little cutesy poo pictures that say nothing on them. You have share screen, you have open conversation. You have, let me see here. What is that one? I don't even know what. Call layout. Call layout. What is that? Anybody know what happens when you hit call layout?
You don't want to find out.
I'm just wondering if that maybe changes it to the old layout. You know, where you can put more people in there, something like that.
Oh, you're right. C. Everett Koop's beard looked like a Quaker or something.
Yeah, I guess, you know. So, anyway, we're going to have our parade, and we're going to have Trump giving a speech, and I'll bet he mentions the Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
You know, which he shouldn't. It's just not the proper occasion to do it. It's supposed to be a non-political event.
Can't help himself.
He can't help himself.
Well, there'll be a big crowd
if he wanted to. Ooh, there's a fly.
What'd you say, Bree?
He could wear a uniform if he wanted to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
How about one?
Trump can do whatever he wants. He's a television star.
How maybe Bozo the Clown outfit?
I got to go get the fly swatter. I got a fly in here.
Will they charge you back if you don't kill it?
No. Now, they let me stay here up to a month. I can stay in the country and I can stay in the flat. But now, you know, looking back, I would have done it differently. They expect you to go quicker, and they expect to transfer the money to your U.S. account. So when I told them I wanted it to my local account, that kind of threw them for a loop. But I'm like, well, I'm here for a week. But now I'm so nervous because I turned on my phone. I did not get it deposited overnight. And it's a local transfer. It should have happened within an hour or two.
Just be careful. If they transfer it to your U.S. account, you may have some tax liability.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah. If it goes to the U.S. account, it's not kept offshore.
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to transfer it myself.
Oh.
But no, I don't have tax liability because I file my taxes. I have to go above a certain amount, you know.
Yeah. He made it in another country.
Yeah,
even if it
winds up back in the U.S.
Yeah, but even if it winds up back in the U.S., I don't think he owes it as a U.S. tax unless it goes over a certain amount.
Now, if he's a big corporation, they won't charge the tax.
If he's a big corporation like Amazon, he won't pay any taxes at all.
Yeah.
That was something, by the way, that I found out the other day that pissed me off. That this place, which I have been giving my money to constantly, has not paid a shred of fucking taxes.
But they charge you tax.
Yes, but they haven't paid taxes. You know, what's with this? You know, I mean, come on.
Somebody tried to. Here's some news from Dubai.
Woman caught smuggling drugs
inside walnuts?
Wow. That's actually, you got to think about it. This is pretty cool to have figured out to do that.
Imagine if you liked walnuts and you were chowing down on it.
Well, I guess the other one question we got to ask, because it happened over the weekend, is our president took a side trip to the DMZ and finally stepped over the line.
It's historic.
It's a photo op.
It's not historic.
He's the first president ever to visit North Korea.
It's still not historic.
You know what's historic about it, Phil?
Tell me.
He didn't have to use a golf cart to go there.
Well, there were steps. He couldn't.
He could actually walk that far.
Yeah.
I
Kim
can
Jong
tell
Un
you
was
why I think he
having
did
problems.
What?
Yeah.
What were you saying, Bree?
I think he did it because, first of all, he loves a photo op.
Yeah.
And second, I think it was his. I think what he does is he's kind of placating North Korea, and Kim. He's kind of saying, "Don't launch any missiles," and then they've been getting antsy lately. Like, okay, we're not getting anything. All the sanctions are still there, so it's tough over here. So I think he went over to kind of say, "Just keep calm. Everything's going to be good. Yeah, I'm here. Let's do this. I'll invite you to the White House." And I think he's just biding his time until after the election, when he won't really care.
Well,
think about this.
I changed my entire opinion of Trump when he got tough with Putin at that G20 summit. The numbers keep changing. When he got tough with Putin at that G20 summit, when somebody said to him, "Are you going to admonish Mr. Putin, or Prime Minister Putin, for meddling in American elections?" And Trump said, "Don't do that," as a joke.
Didn't you see Trump slap his hand?
No.
He did?
No,
Yeah.
he didn't. No, he
it was
didn't.
worse than Melania when they got off the plane. He went like this to Putin. Don't do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but that wasn't funny. That wasn't funny. And I don't know what he thought he was accomplishing. It is just amazing to me. And then he's with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and he's kissing his fucking ass. Oh, well, he's shaking hands there with him.
That's after he slapped him. But
yeah,
if Alex were to go to Dubai and not say hi to Bree, I think Bree would be pissed off. Now, Trump went to South Korea. He was just a hop and a skip away from Kim Jong Un, so he was doing the neighborly thing.
Let's drop by. Let's drop by and see the Kims.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, you're in town. Don't forget to say hi.
And if he didn't, when he got back to the United States, he might get a letter from Kim saying you were in South Korea and you didn't walk over the line to say hello.
Right. So that's just a neighborly thing to do. I mean, they're friends. Why not?
I came here to... Okay, so you go across the line and you say, I came here to get a cup of sugar. How's that?
Yeah, but meanwhile, Pompeo and a couple of other people are starting negotiations again behind the scenes for the nuclear stuff going on in North Korea.
It's not going to happen, Phil.
Well, they started conversation.
It's not going to happen. This has been a lot of talk going on here.
Biding time.
I mean, it's the same way he is coming to terms with the Iranians. I mean, no way.
Your buddy Obama told Trump when they had the meeting in the White House and they were at the day that Obama moved out and the Trumps moved in, that North Korea was the biggest threat that Obama considered in the world, and I think that Trump is doing something to address that.
Why are you turning your picture on and off, Bree? Bree?
I have an issue here. I cannot mute unless I turn off. There we go. There's something weird. I can't. I'm trying to mute because I got to brush my teeth, but it's not.
Well, don't mute. Just go brush your teeth.
Yeah. Well, you brush the teeth and make sure you have the camera in the right angle.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
You're muted.
Go brush your
muted.
teeth. You're muted. Okay. Anyway, the fact of the matter was that, speaking of Obama, who was it? Trump gave a speech in which he was saying that Obama...
Begging.
Huh?
Begging Kim to come to Korea.
No. That Obama never made any overtures to go to North Korea. And the fact is he did. According to his people, he did. Obama.
No, he ordered Chinese that night.
What? What were you saying?
You get it back.
What do you mean, Scott? What?
Trump kept saying Obama was begging Kim Jong-un to come visit him. I mean, Obama wanted to go to North Korea and visit with him and talk to him.
Oh, okay.
But he never did.
Yeah.
And that was the lie that Trump kept saying. He's like, he was begging him to go in. He wouldn't go. He wouldn't do it. But Obama never went to go see the guy. 3 or 4 people from Susan Rice and Clapper and somebody else said, that's just crazy. Obama never begged. Obama never went to go see Kim.
Well, I think the theory was...
Never made an effort.
The theory was, and it was a good theory, by the way. The theory was that that if you go over there, you give him cred. You give him some kind of credibility that puts him that you shouldn't let him be put into. You know.
Right.
And I think that's why he never did it. But he kept saying that something about Obama and that situation that was absolutely wrong. Just completely wrong. A complete, absolute, out-and-out lie.
Right.
And everybody caught him on it, you know. But he, of course, never, ever apologizes for anything he says or says, whoops, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Blah, 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 you know. He hates Obama. He just hates Obama because Obama put him down at that fucking correspondence dinner. And Trump can't stand to have people make fun of him. He's very thin-skinned that way.
Hey, did you see the thing that says Forbin Colossus says that a dog bit him in San Francisco and he barely got $3,000 in pain and suffering? I would think that if a dog bit Forbin Colossus should have paid the dog $3,000.
Actually, I think the dog would have gotten rabies, wouldn't he?
Yeah, really.
All hail Alex, a true veteran. Thank you for your service. Siri, 78 years old and still no bone spurs. I'm 79 and no bone spurs. Oh, look, we have an outside view. That's Dubai, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's very nice. That's very nice. Can you say something to us?
He's brushing.
No, okay, let's see. Let's see here. Could I? Yeah, I think I could get that picture.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you
out there.
We can hear you.
Skype Skype has a delayed everything. Like I hit the mute, it takes 3 seconds.
Wait a minute. Let me hold on a second. Let me.
Is that construction sound that we hear from?
Why don't you shut up, Phil, so that we can see the picture? If you talk, we can't see the picture.
Oh.
They may not like me taking a photo of that. It's a power plant.
Oh, really?
Well, I think. I'm not sure what it is.
What's that knock on the door?
What's that? Is that a Coca-Cola truck down there? You're in fucking New Jersey.
That's
you're in New Jersey.
Amazon. This is Amazon Middle East. That's their tower.
Oh, really?
That Microsoft is here.
Yeah.
And Virgin is here. Virgin Megastore. Their corporate head office is here.
Wow.
And over here is that's Thomson Reuters.
Yeah.
And CNN is over here. And then this is Al Hayat. It's a newspaper. It's in Arabic.
And a big garage there. Is that a garage we're looking at?
Yeah, that's for Al Taraya Tower. They make satellite phones.
Wow.
And there's a lot of companies in there. There's something called Citrus TV, which is like a home shopping network for this region, and then Ipsos is there as well. They're a research company. Lots of different. Huawei is there as well.
You know what's funny about this? Looking at that and just looking down the street, you wouldn't know you were in Dubai. You know? I mean, you got a Coca-Cola truck there. You got a bunch of buses that look just like buses look here. You know.
Well, there's Arabic on there.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right.
And you can see the street names are in Arabic. And
yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You can see the palm trees.
Yeah. Okay.
That could be South Carolina, I guess.
Right. We can't see the Burj Khalifa from there, right?
No, I'd have to live on the other side.
Oh, okay. Because that is one
But-
fucking amazing building.
But you can't see it. I can hold my iPad out there. Down the street, there's this beautiful red Jaguar. It just sits there. It's getting dust, and it's just a beautiful Jaguar. And I just wish somebody would take care of it, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe the guy's out of town.
Well, it looks like a busy town there. Anyway, there's our little tour, ladies and gentlemen, for you of Dubai, which is terrific.
Well, just my little corner. This is actually called Media City.
Oh.
So, where you're moving, what kind of views are you going to have from there? There's an unusual. Are you in Kuala Lumpur? Is where you're going?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a picture of the house.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
Now, what's the job you're going to be doing in Kuala Lumpur?
It's sort of. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like a consultant for education and curriculum design. I don't know. I have to see when I get there what they
Does
call
that
it.
mean you're starting your own Gabnet channel?
Yeah. This is the house.
Oh, very nice. That's a big house, considering
when you
where
put
you're
it too
going.
close to the camera, we can't see it because it gets blurry. Pull out just a little bit. That's a very
what's
nice
that-
house. Yeah.
What's the writing on that thing? Does that say Holiday Inn? Oh, no.
No, that's the guy's name, the agent's name.
That's going to be your whole
Here's
house.
a photo I took the other day, Phil. Could I win in your awards?
Maybe journalism.
That's
Yeah.
the
Well,
Burj Al Arab back there.
Yeah, but you see, we can't
Very
see it
subtle.
because when you move it too close, your thing doesn't focus in.
It
yeah.
doesn't focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn your camera landscape and see. Yeah, now we.
Yeah.
There's the Burj Al Arab.
Huh.
Burj means
took a
what?
lot of them,
What does
sure.
Burj mean? Building?
Building.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like in French, the rue means street.
Well, the Burj Khalifa is an amazing edifice. It is. It
Yeah.
makes your town look like it's the world of the future. You know.
Here's the car that was outside yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a Maserati.
And my friend took me to dinner last night in a Maserati.
Yeah.
They're not that comfortable to ride in.
Of course not.
What did I ride in that?
You said a Lamborghini, I think.
Lamborghini was the most uncomfortable car I've ever ridden in my life. A $250,000 Lamborghini.
There's a new Lamborghini that just came on the market for $203,000. It's an SUV.
Really? Well, this
sure it'll be here.
Lamborghini was a $250,000 Lamborghini that was given to him by his business partner.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, this is when I was doing Play TV. This was back in 1998.
So that could have been $1 million
Yeah.
Lamborghini today.
And who is that?
That's my friend Maya.
That's your friend Maya.
Yeah. Oh, here I am with the Burj.
Oh,
No,
now
I'm Maya.
there's the Burj Khalifa. That thing is amazing.
Yeah.
And when it's lit up at night, there are lights all around it and everything. It's just, you know. So, are you going to miss Dubai?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I will miss it.
What did you like best about it?
Diversity. There's true diversity here. You can meet people from all around the world every day,
Yeah.
and it's just awesome. I mean, I get my yogurt from a woman. She's from Cameroon, and
By the way, I noticed in a replay here, in looking at the thing, you had your hand up there, Patrick. You remember what you were going to say?
I would probably just
Oh, okay.
jump in class.
Because I was looking at the monitor over here, and it's about 30 seconds earlier, and I saw you going like this, and
He didn't take his spaz medicine.
Not my eye.
yeah. Well, whenever I worry about my health, I start to think about Patrick and how well he takes his. So the one thing about Patrick is he is certainly not a hypochondriac. you know. And you have every reason to be. But you see, a hypochondriac is worried about things he might have and not worried about the things he does have. So, because I know whenever I really have something really wrong with me, I stop being a hypochondriac. I mean, I complain and say, you know, like now I'm using my thing about maybe the fact that I have prostate cancer, that I can't take out the garbage because of my cancer. You know, I laugh about it because whatever
I use that excuse for a year and a half.
Whatever I've got is not what Phil had. I have the non-aggressive version if I have it. You know, so yes, Patrick.
Tony, I just looking at the stuff behind you, it just occurred to me. I had an uncle die about a month and a half ago. And the curtains and that wallpaper combined look like the inside of his casket.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they usually wrap old Jews in something like that when they bury them. They call it a shroud.
Really?
Yeah.
Candace D writes here, Obama never wanted Kim to be on the world stage. That was his feeling about it. And Trump has put him on the world stage. Trump has given him...
The guy has nuclear bombs.
He doesn't have nuclear bombs. Not yet.
Yeah, he
doesn't.
He blows them up.
No, he doesn't, Phil.
And he's got ICBMs and all sorts of other crap.
I CBM all the time when I look in the toilet.
Yeah.
And if you don't think mine are deadly, let Kim come over and see them.
Yeah. You know. I tell you, when you have that this morning, I said I can't even go into the bathroom that I've been in there. Usually you don't smell your own.
There's one thing, none of you can argue this, that you one time went to the bathroom and had a turd of such an anaconda length that you didn't want to call people in to look at it. Am I right? Be honest.
Do you look to see if it's floating or not?
The biggest one I remember ever having was in a toilet down in Atlanta during the Olympics, and I don't know how long that thing was. But if I measured it, it was over a foot. I looked at it and I went, "My fucking God, did that come out of me in one piece?"
Reindeer.
In one piece. You know?
You see that you produce that kind of shit on a reindeer, reindeer burger, right?
No. I'm talking about the Olympics in Atlanta.
In where?
Atlanta.
Oh. Okay, so you had barbecue.
I went to the Olympics in Atlanta. That wasn't a big deal. They said, we're sending you to the Olympics. I said, well, you sent me the Olympics in Albertville, and then you sent me the Olympics in Barcelona, and then you sent me the Olympics in Norway. I said, in Lillehammer. I said, and now we're going to Atlanta? Fuck it. I don't want to go to fucking Atlanta.
Are you the guy that handed the backpack to the security guard?
I was there a day before that place blew up.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did. Yeah, I was the guy who did it. Oh man. Let me get a theme song going here so we can get the hell out of here.
Is it that time? Well, any of your Antifa callers can call tomorrow, and they won't have any resistance from the Republican.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Marjorie said she's coming on tomorrow night. Oh, first time in 8 weeks.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Tell her I hope, and I'm sure everybody hopes that she feels better. And
Scott, I need you to call tomorrow night so I have somebody.
I might be here, I might not.
Okay. Well, Patrick, I need you to call here so I might have somebody.
I might not.
So there's no show tomorrow because
if I don't have any callers, I'm just not doing the show tomorrow night. And then Bree, you can call tomorrow night. See, there's a pal.
But he might not be good.
He might be moving. Might be in jail for taking those pictures.
Anyway, everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll wave back, okay? And I have to wave, and I have to also use my hand to change to the fade. There we go. Okay, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Everybody hung up really fast on me. But that's it. I'm hanging up here and leaving the phones ready for Jack Bishop, who's next with The Intersection over most of this same GabNet. We'll see you again tomorrow night, hopefully with somebody calling, because everybody's going to be away. I should have taken the whole week off. Anyway, stay tuned for Jack. He's next. Tomorrow night, Damien, the franchise MC for the sports show at, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time, 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time. It's Damian Chaplin with The Exchange. I'll see you tomorrow night. Same station. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.